I realized that there were 10 minutes left in the tournament. And that was like the first time that I just like gave up hope. And I was like, well, it's not going to happen. And I keep fishing. At 3:09, with 6 minutes left in the tournament, I catch keeper number 4.
Welcome back to the Kayak Bass Connection Podcast, the official podcast of the Southern Illinois Kayak Club. So I am your host, Jared, but I'm really thrilled tonight. I have a co-host tonight. Jeff Shira has offered to help out with the podcast, and we really appreciate him coming on board. Thanks again, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jared.
And listen, we've got a recap tonight of the Kincaid, Illinois event that was on April 18th, 2026, in Kincaid Lake outside of Murfreesboro, Illinois, in Southern Illinois. Man, I tell you what, that lake has kicked my butt before, so I'm interested to hear from our winners tonight and how they did out there. So with first place at the end of the tournament was some guy I've never heard of, Dalton Williams. So welcome to the podcast, Dalton Williams.
Glad to be back.
You're the only guy that's been on the podcast probably as much as I have. So this is not only your second consecutive win, right? You just came off of a win at the SIKC Classic with all the top-ranked anglers. Fantastic job there. This particular tournament, you showed once again, man, you are the most dominant angler in this club. So it's not surprising to see you back here. So you had a total of 90 inches there. Second place was also a guy that we might recognize, Joshua Lincoln. So Josh is back as just an angler. There's no tournament director questions we're we throwing at you this time, Josh. It's a pleasure to have you back just as an angler. So congratulations on a second place finish. You had 84 inches and a big bass.
Yeah, I mean, I love that I finally get to be on one of these recaps, and I'm not the director, and that I get to be one of the guys that actually caught him well. And I don't know. It was a cool experience not being in charge of everything. And I'll tell you this, I would not be in the winner's circle if I would have been directing this tournament. There'll be more to tell later, but that's a little preview.
Okay, awesome. That's a little clue. That's great. That doesn't surprise me. It's like we've seen you where you only have been able to fish half the day or whatever and still had good places. I knew that once you'd be able to focus, we were probably in trouble. And third place, I think we might have lost him off the stream tonight, Walt McCree. Walt, are you still with us? I'll tell you what, maybe he'll pop back in here. Walt is the first time on the podcast, so hopefully he can get logged back in. He was here just a few minutes ago. So we welcome him to the podcast. I'm sure he'll be right back. So first of all, let's just talk about the conditions you guys ran into in this tournament. Just before you starting, I mean, I looked up some stats. So the high for the Saturday of the tournament, was 12:01 a.m., right before the tournament started at midnight. It was 75 degrees. And by the time you were supposed to launch, it was 60 degrees. So I see a cold trend happening here. And then it went all the way to 48 degrees by 9 a.m. It's like 28 temperature drop, 28 degree temperature drop.
It was cold. That's cold. I'll tell you that. It was cold.
That's cold front fishing, if there ever was one. And the wind. How was the wind, guys?
It was awful. At first, right when that front came through, that wind was pushing. And of course, that was the time I chose to cross the entire main lake of Kincaid. But it was supposed to be that was supposed to be the best time for the wind throughout the day. And that's when I chose to cross the main lake. And then it was supposed to be in the afternoon. It was supposed to be blowing harder and faster. But luckily, we got really lucky around 11 or 12. That wind just kind of laid down when it was supposed to really pick back up. But it was definitely blowing hard enough to make a shiver out there.
Yeah, I think I saw some gusts up to like 40. I mean, it was on the weather station. It was pretty bad. So you didn't get started on time, right? The temperature, the blast off was delayed a little bit. Hey, welcome back, Walt.
Thank you. There he is.
Hey, so Walt, we lost you for a minute, and I wanted to introduce everybody to you. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Walt. It's the first time you've been on the podcast.
Yep, thank you. I live in Rochester. I've been in Illinois for about 20 years. Started bass fishing in Colorado, so a lot different than out here. I did the bass boat thing forever. And then last year, just decided to get into the kayak thing. Did a couple online tournaments, and then my first tournament was the Bass Nation Championship. So Kincaid was my third
You're third. Man, we might have trouble with you. You get a little more kayaking experience than anything. Yeah, so that's
It's
awesome.
been a lot of fun. I'm addicted to it.
Heck yeah.
Still got the boat?
Yep, still have the boat.
All right,
It doesn't
great.
get much use anymore, though.
Yeah. What kind of kayak are you in now?
A bonafide PWR.
Yeah, sleek boats for sure.
Yeah.
Better on gas
So-
too than your boat, I imagine.
Absolutely, that's the best part.
Yeah. So kind of go back to launch. You guys were delayed, right?
Yeah.
Was that due to weather mainly?
Yeah, Jonathan was
That
just
wind?
taking everything precautionally, making sure it was 100% safe to get us out on the water, making sure that, because that front was pushing through overnight and it just kind of got the tail end of when we should have launched, which I think was like 6 a.m., right? I'm not 100%
I
sure.
think that was correct.
But we pushed back to what, like 7:30 launch? Or right at like 7,
Okay. A little more bearable, but you said it was still pretty rough when you were going across the lake.
Yeah, I think the worst weather I dealt with the entire day was when I pushed off from the launch and started making my way out. So hindsight being 2020, I'm sure Jonathan would have kept us on shore for an extra 20 more minutes and then sent us out. But
Well,
that's the part of being a director, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a decision you didn't have to make.
No, but no, I was happy to not have to make that decision.
So what was the fishing like first thing in the morning? Do you guys have immediately start having luck, or was it a struggle?
I caught my first one in the first 10 minutes, about a 17 and a half.
Man, I had a good morning. I would say 30 minutes to 45 minutes into the tournament, I had 82 inches already.
Wow.
I caught a dink on my second cast of the tournament, and I was like, man, this is going to be a good day. And then I don't think I caught another fish for 5 hours, 6 hours, felt like.
Yeah, I caught my second one a half hour in, and then I didn't catch my third one until 12:30, 12:45.
So how did you guys try to make adjustments? I mean, literally just had that front come through right as you launch, or right when you're supposed to launch. Did you make any adjustments throughout the day that you think paid off in the end?
Yeah, when we were pre-fishing, I was actually catching fish on a Carolina rig and just kind of pitching around, and I couldn't get any of that. So I just decided to pick up the jackhammer and grind.
All right. What about you, Dalton? How did your changes go throughout the day? You said, well, I don't know. You start out good, so.
Yeah. Well, I threw a Cinco most of the time because I couldn't see the beds yet because of the wind and the rain. And I got most of them off of that Cinco. Then once the wind and the rain kind of stopped, I could actually see the beds and I started flipping a jig at them.
Josh, how about yourself?
Man, I struggled most of the day. I mean, I caught a lot of little fish all throughout the day. Right, kind of like Dalton said, once the sun came out, I was in an area that was just loaded with bedfish. And I probably wasted way too much time of my tournament just kind of standing up fishing for bedfish that as soon as my lure would land anywhere near them, they would just take off. But they were addicting to fish for because I was passing over 3, 4, 5 pounders. I saw one giant fish, but I couldn't get any of them to react. And my big turning point of the day was when I put away everything else and I just picked up the Cinco and said, okay, hey, I'm going to back off of these bedfish and start fishing some deeper shorelines. And that's when I finally started clicking.
Nice. How was the water clarity out there after the sun came out? What kind of like visibility and stuff were you looking at?
I went pretty far west, and I had up to like 5 feet of visibility, just crystal clear water.
What about you, Dalton?
What I had. That's what I had, about 4 or 5. Then as the day went on, it just kept getting worse.
All the muddy water and stuff.
Yeah.
Coming in from the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of people struggle. I mean, we had 45 anglers in the field. Only 12 of those submitted 5 fish limit. So that's pretty impressive. The only 3 that broke 80 inches, I think, were on this podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dustin, after the classic podcast, he say that felt like Kincaid was a place where you seem like you have a terrible day, and then you check the standings and you're 70 inches or 75 inches, get you into the top 5 and might get you a check or something like that.
Yeah, I've always, in the 5 tournaments we've held at Kincaid, it's always been a find your 5 fish type of guy or day, and those anglers that can find their 5 fish that can just end up putting that Cinco in 5 spots throughout the day where there should be a bass typically rise to the top, because it's not typically I'm going to go throw a chatterbait all day and catch fish. It's very kind of strategic on what you're going to do, at least for me.
Right. Makes sense this time of year, especially with so many of them sitting on beds and stuff like y'all were able to find. You think those ones you got, Josh, were, kind of backed off waiting to come in, or you think they'd already came and gone?
I think if you look at like the 20.5-inch fish that I caught, really looked spawned out. It wasn't a super fat fish. So I'm thinking those, at least the fish that I was fishing for, were almost maybe post spawn. I don't know.
About what was your water temperature, guys? Do you remember the range you were operating in?
Do you remember, Walt?
I think upper 60.
Yeah,
upper
I
60s.
don't.
Yeah, I was somewhere in the realm of like 66 to 68 degree water temp anywhere.
Wow.
I barely even use my fish finder. I didn't even look at it.
Dalton's just
Now,
one with
Dalton,
the
I thought I
force when he
noticed-
gets out there. He's meditating and getting on them.
He just feels the fish, right?
Right.
Now, Dalton, I was looking at some of your submission pictures. Did you get a new kayak?
Yes, I did.
What do
I
you-
picked it up Tuesday, like 3 days before the tournament.
No kidding. What are you rocking?
I'm rocking a Hobie Outback.
Nice.
Yeah, I still have my old one. I basically told myself, if I don't place good in this tournament, I'm selling the Hobie. Staying with my kayak.
Man, it's great. Welcome to the Outback Club, man.
Yeah,
Good boats. I enjoy mine.
I rocked a
I've
new
always
kayak
heard
as
they're
well.
like with-
That's
Yeah,
right.
right,
You
Josh.
too, man.
Yeah, I picked up that native hammer from Midwest Kayak Company, and man, that was awesome. It's they really thought of a lot of cool, neat features on that boat, and I'll say for one of the worst weather tournaments we had, I didn't feel unsafe by any means, even crossing the main lake, which is always nice. Going out with the kayak that I've had probably less than 12 hours of on the water time with.
Yeah, that's how I was.
Did you get the test drive yours, Dalton, before you got out there?
I think I had it. I took it out twice with a combined hours of like 4 hours.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, great. 8 hours of on the water and storms coming in.
I was able to go out with one of our club members, Jeff Reinhold, and he had just bought a brand new native hammer. I mean, had not been in the water. And him and I took it out, 2 weeks ago, for his little maiden test voyage. I was really impressed with the quality of that boat.
Yeah, I'm super impressed with it. Just down to every little small detail that they thought of. So far, it's been a blessing. It does take on a little bit more water than my old town did, so that's a little bit getting used to, but apparently that's just a native deal.
Yeah. And I bet you got that with our friend James at Midwest Kayak Company, right?
Yeah, sure did.
That's awesome. I know that's where Jeff's native hammer came out too. So he must be doing pretty good job selling good equipment down there. So
heck yeah, he's awesome to work with.
Yeah, I texted him today, and so looking to see what he had. So well, I'm curious your impression. This is just what you say, your third tournament.
Yeah, my third in-person tournament. Yeah.
Okay. So what's your big takeaways from your third tournament into this different style of tournament fishing?
I thought it was awesome. And, last year I actually met Keith Bressler when we were free fishing for the Master one.
Yeah.
And I told him, I'm trying to figure out a club to join. And he's like, you'd be stupid not to join Stick. He goes, everyone is so nice and,
Yeah.
they're helpful and welcoming and will give you advice and that kind of thing. And, people say that, but then when I showed up this weekend and, it felt like I'd been there for 20 years already.
Yeah.
Everybody was just so welcoming. So definitely,
Josh,
it was definitely a good experience.
Well, Walt, since you're new to the club, let me tell you that the guy in the center picture, Josh, he's the one responsible for that culture. As tournament director for years, that's what he pushed. So that's got to make you feel pretty good hearing that, Josh.
Oh yeah, I love that. If when I walk away from SIKC, if that's my legacy, and if I didn't win AOI or anything cool like that, if that's my legacy, that's super awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man, you did a lot for the club. I mean, I'm only my second year with it, but I mean, you're well liked, well respected. So, I was glad to see your name up there on the leaderboard, and can only imagine what it must be like to get out there and just fish and not have to worry about any questions or anything. So I'm sure it was a good welcome back for you, dude.
Yeah, it was an awesome welcome back, and who knows? I mean, it might have been a little bit of luck. It might have been a little bit of a favor by God, but at the end of the day, it was nice to look to all those people that have been directing tournaments and say, "Hey, man, it could have been happening all this time, but I was too busy directing." You know,
Exactly.
at least it's some bragging rights of like, "Hey, you know what could have been." You know,
Yeah, no, that's awesome. You know, people. No offense, Dalton, but people will forget 20 years from now who won the tournament, but they'll remember remember the way people treated him. You know, so that's big.
Sure.
So speaking of things that are happening, I mean, you guys had some pretty interesting events. I understand happening on the water during that day, other than just
Here we go.
catching good fish. All right. So I know Dalton and Josh both have a pretty good story to tell, maybe different stories actually. Dalton, you want to get started?
Where did I start? I talked to this guy out of like beginning of the tournament. I talked to this guy that was from O'Fallon, and he had wheels to the back of his kayak. And I went in his cove, and I left the cove. He went in the cove and left, and I went back to that cove, and I looked down in the water since it's 5 feet, 6 feet clear, and all I saw was just silver, like a frame of something, just silver. I could see. And I'm sitting there like, someone's lost their chair. I don't know why a chair's out here in 7 feet of water. Then I kept looking. I'm like, those look like a set of wheels for a kayak. So I grabbed one of my lures and I snagged it. I brought it up. I'm like, huh, that's a kayak cart. I don't know if you can pull it up from Facebook or not.
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
It looks pretty new too from the pictures. It clearly hadn't been
Oh
there
yeah.
long.
Yeah. I sent that into the Facebook group, and he sent a thing. It's like, hey, you still have it? I almost said I sold it off of Facebook Marketplace. I almost said it, but I stopped myself.
Like, yeah, I got it. It's $90 on Facebook Marketplace right now. You want to make an offer?
for you.
Was it a club member?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was hilarious. See if I can bring that up.
Yeah, then that 20-inch fish I caught, I missed her 5 or 6 times. She kept hitting the back of the jig, like the tail, and I was actually on my phone with my dad. And every time I set the hook, he's like, "You suck. You can't catch him." I'm like, "Shut up. I know."
Where's some wisdom from the father?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had him talking to me saying I sucked, and me missing this fish 5 or 6 times. I'm like, great. This is just tops off the day. So I ended up shortening the tail on the jig, and as soon as I shortened it up, that's when I caught her.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't
strategy
find
though, man.
any fish that were like locked onto beds that wouldn't like move and like that would actually hit repeatedly.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
either.
had several fish hit me repeatedly.
Really?
I actually broke off on a 17, and I came back an hour later, and I caught her.
Yeah, mine
Yeah,
was so bad. I saw another bed. I'm not even stopping. I'm not wasting any more time.
Yeah, because like,
like
or is it the same way for you all? Like, anytime I would like either like stand up in my kayak or even just like make a move with my rod, that fish would just take off, you know. And then about
Yep.
2-3 minutes later, they would like circle back to that area, but not. They weren't locked by any means.
Yeah, I couldn't even say. And then even if they did, they just flat out ignored anything that I did. So after about an hour and a half of messing with several beds, I told myself I can't waste any more time.
I guess I just found a cove that it was not pressured at all. Because as soon as I left that cove and went to Paul Ice and I started bed fishing, they were doing exactly what you said, Josh. As soon as they hit the water, they just run.
You think that's from pressure?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because that cove I was fishing, I don't think it got pressured at all.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioning pressure because I went back into Paul Ice and kind of the same thing you were saying. And then I ended up putting up my trolling motor and going in the far backs of the cuts where you couldn't even see because it was so muddy, but you could see like pockets in the grass. And I just put the power pole down and just fan casted in the back of each one of those cuts. And every second or third cast, I'd catch a fish. And then I just hop to the next one, anchor down in the middle of the cut, and just fan cast through it. And that's how I ended up catching the majority of my fish.
Nice. And you said you got them all in a jackhammer, right?
Yep.
Nice. Were you like just were you like speed reeling it like over the tops of like the grass, or were you working it more like a jig?
Just keeping it. Nope, just keeping it just over the grass.
Nice.
So like you could see shadows, where the grass was, and then you'd see clearings inside the grass. And I would try to run it over those clearings, just keeping it out of the grass.
Job.
Do you think most of your hits came?
Oh, go ahead, Jared.
No, I was going to say, do you think most of your hits came from those clearings, holes in the grass?
Yeah, I couldn't really
couldn't
I'm
tell.
guessing it was just because of how shallow it was, that when it was over the grass, it was only about 2 inches, 2 inches above the grass. So I think it would just come into those clearings and just a reaction. They would just hit it.
That's sounds like some classic kayak fishing.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I told myself, yeah, if I was in a boat, I would not be back here because I couldn't even have my trolling motor down. It was so shallow.
So Josh, tell us about this 20 point, was it 20.50?
Yeah, it was a 20.5 inch fish.
Yeah, 20.5 inch big bass, and give you another check to take home.
Yeah, it was a day. Let me tell you. I don't know how religious y'all are, but usually on the tournament mornings, I would usually have like a 2 or 3 hour drive, and sometimes I pray as I'm on my way, and I felt like I heard from God, it's like, hey, will you still love me even if you come in last place? And I was like, yeah, of course, And throughout the day, I felt like that was true. I caught a bunch of little small fish, and then I think Austin called me somewhere around like 12:30, and I'd be curious to know if he could like hear like just like the lost hope in my voice. I was shivering. A keeper fish. I was like, I'm gonna come in last place in this tournament, and I just like had lost all hope. And then I kind of ditched the bed fish, and then I started fishing, and I caught my first fish at 12:47, and then I followed it up with my second fish at 12:54. And then I was like, okay, I'm on to something. And then I went another like hour before I caught that third fish at 1:59, which was that 20.5. So I went from like, I think it was like a 16.5, 17.25, and then I got that 20.5. So I had 3 really high quality bites, but I was like, okay, hey, I'm figuring something out. Is it just a little bit too late in the day? So at 20.5 inch fish, and then it was at 2 o'clock basically, which gave me an hour and 15 minutes to find those last 2 bites. And at that point I was like, yeah, I got it. I'm going to go. And because I figured out whatever the pattern was, and I'm going and I'm going and I'm going and I'm going, and time is just slipping away from me. And there's actually a cool part, and I'm going to put it in my YouTube video, is I pulled out my phone and I looked at the time, and it said, I think it was like 3:05. And I realized that there were 10 minutes left in the tournament. And that was like the first time that I just like gave up hope. And I was like, well, it's not going to happen. And I keep fishing. At 3:09, with 6 minutes left in the tournament, I catch keeper number 4, which was like a 13 something. And I was like, at that point, that gave me the fire. I don't know if I've ever taken a picture as fast of a fish. I flipped it in, took one quick picture, barely even talked to the camera, threw it back in, and I was just renewed. I was like, this is going to happen, and keep fishing. And I hook into my 5th and final fish at like 3:14 or 3:13.5, whip it into the boat. The picture that was submitted was taken at 3:14 and 18 seconds.
Holy cow.
With literally 40 seconds to go into the tournament. And it was just one of those deals. Like if I would have been tournament director, I would have been back at the launch an hour prior to that. So it's just like one of those cool stories of like, you're never out of a tournament. You can always keep going. And I'll be honest, at that point, I was just happy to get my 5th fish. I didn't know that I was this high in the standings. I didn't look at the standings once all day. I just knew I got my 5 fish. So then when I got back to the launch, and I didn't really even talk any kind of like shop with anybody. I just kind of put my kayak away. And then when the awards ceremony came and they called me top 5, I was like, oh, cool. I made 4th or 5th place, And then they went through like everybody's inches, and I was like, oh, okay. So it was fun.
Very nice. Dalton, you had one that was almost that big, didn't you? You had that
20.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's the one I missed 5 or 6 times.
I had to tease you a little while before.
Yeah. I would say every bedfish I saw that morning in that cove, I caught.
Was your 20?
That's important.
Was it a fat fish, or was it all like spawned out?
I would say it spawned out. I can't really remember, but I think it was spawned out. But that one fish I caught, or I guess snapped off and caught, that bed had 3 females on it.
Dang.
Wow. The other 2 were just on the outskirts of it, and while the other one was just sitting right in the middle. And the 2 on the outskirts would not touch anything.
Maybe the males were somewhere. They were they had to step in and guard.
Yeah, as soon as I caught that 17, I let her go. One of the females stepped up and got into that bed and kind of guard it. So
territorial creatures, man. When it comes to that,
Yep.
pretty awesome.
Yeah. So were you guys expecting it was going to be a bed tournament pretty much when you got into it? I know that Walt, you said you started there and kind of decided that wasn't, at least where you were at, wasn't going to work for you.
Yeah, I figured they would be up on beds, but I don't think I've ever experienced it being that hard to get them off the beds for me for a whole, usually within 2 or 3 hours, you can get a few of them off the bed. Even the two I had early weren't on beds. I was just fishing until I could see them.
I think Kincaid gets quite a bit of that boat pressure. Usually there's tournaments about every weekend this time of year, I think.
Yeah, it gets added boat pressure because it's one of the few lakes in southern Illinois where there's no horsepower limit. So all the big bass boats can actually go out and they can use that lake for tournaments.
Well, yeah, and the day before ours, we had that 70 boat high school tournament.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of boat traffic on Saturday? I imagine there wasn't early in the morning, but
I wouldn't say a whole lot.
On Saturday, no. On Friday, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Did we fish on Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
Saturday.
We fished
Saturday.
Okay, yeah. So Friday it was crazy. Saturday it was. I didn't experience too much boat traffic.
Yeah. I the whole tournament I saw one boat and I saw one kayak out of a field of 45. But I went a ways. I covered some ground.
I think I've seen 10 or 15 bass boats, and that's it.
So Walt, you
But in your
pre-fished. Go ahead. After you, Jerry.
No, I was gonna say, Dalton. So in your cove that you had a lot of luck in, though, it was just you. You said you didn't think it got pressured at all.
No, like every time I was in that cove, the bass boat will kind of go in there, but they'll stop like halfway, then they just turn back and go out. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, thank God you turned around.
I think they're
But-
pulling in
somewhere
there,
else.
they're scoping it and then turn around and leaving.
Every one I've seen was beating the banks.
Okay.
And like I had 5 or 6 other kayakers that fished that cove too, and they
Oh.
were doing the same thing. But those bedfish were pulled off of the bank probably a good 15 yards.
Hmm.
And so they're going right on top of them. I'm sitting there, I'm like, you're scaring every bedfish, and you have no idea
Yeah.
that you're going right over the top of them.
Jeff, did you have something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Obviously, Walt, you pre-fished on Friday. How'd it go for you?
I got a small limit. There were so many boats and stuff out there. When I was up close to shore, every bed I saw was completely empty. I didn't really have anything, so I went to the outside grass edge, actually throwing a Carolina rig, and that's how I ended up catching a limit pre-fishing.
Nice. Josh, were you working, man, or did you get to fish Friday too?
Oh man, I work every Friday, but sometimes I feel like that plays into my advantage, because I just show up and I fish what the conditions present to me. Because I think the last time I fished Kincaid was our tournament back in like 2023. I show up, looked at what the lake was presenting me, and kind of fought until I found a pattern.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Recently, at least. What about you, Dalton? Did you fish Friday?
I don't pre-fish.
Okay, got you, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you'll learn that I don't pre-fish at all.
Fair enough. Again, might be the Jedi Master out there or something with the fish.
So what do you guys what are you looking forward to here in the next few months? We got the tournament. This is kind of the kickoff the tournament trail season, at least for the Southern Illinois Kayak Club. What other than our events, what else are you guys looking at doing? I know, Walt, you said you're getting ready to take another trip, right?
Yep, I'm fishing the Bass Federation Kayak Series as well. So I'll be in Wisconsin this weekend fishing that. And then, unfortunately, I have to skip both tournaments in May. And then I'll make the rest of everything for the rest of the year.
Okay. Josh, what about you?
I got a lot of things to look forward to. My baby boy is 8 months old today, so
Yeah.
a lot of cool milestones
That's
ahead
good.
of us this summer. This summer he'll probably end up taking his first steps and some cool things like that. Fishing wise, though, I mean, I'm excited. I'm gonna fish all the SIKC events, and then I'm also gonna try and hit most of the KBL ones. I'm not gonna make the Wisconsin one just because the trip and a Sunday tournament kind of hard to be back at
that's
work
hard,
on Monday.
Dalton, what's your summer look like?
Nah, just fishing tournaments, basically.
Learn
6
money.
tournaments, anyways.
Yeah,
Right.
collecting checks.
Just PayPal it straight, or Venmo, whatever, Cash App, whatever your preferred method is to Dalton these days.
Cut out the tournament director altogether.
I felt bad. I caught that 20. Then the MLF guy, he was struggling, so I gave him one of the Cincos I was using, and it caught at 19 3/4. And he's like, I think I got big bag. I'm sitting there, I'm like,
Are you?
I got a 20. I don't think you do.
No,
But I'm glad Josh got it.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I had a good feeling that I think I talked to Darren earlier in the day, and he told me that most people were struggling, and he told me he had like a 19 was his big fish. So when I caught a 20 and a half, I thought I might have a pretty good shot at getting big bass.
Jeff, what about you? What are you looking forward to this summer on your calendar as far as fishing wise?
we got a trip to Alaska coming up, and so that's the same week as Coffeen, so I'm kind of bummed to miss that one. But I mean, Alaska. So
Hey, you just kind of blew us all out of the water.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Going to
I
Alaska.
hope I can make Crab Orchard. It's kind of close. I know it's pretty much right around the corner, but got a lot to do between now and the end of May, and I'll be out there fishing local places where around me and Josh, and hit the rivers when they calm down enough, and try and make the sick tournaments when I can, and hopefully just have a good summer, and catch a lot of fish.
Heck yeah! Are you gonna do any fishing while you're in Alaska?
Yeah, we're debating whether to do halibut fishing. It seems like it'd be awesome. I mean, I know it would be awesome, but sometimes you take those charters like that, and if you get bit, that's a good day kind of thing. But there's a couple other options besides that. We could always do one kind of the party boat almost, with like a couple other people, or maybe a dozen other people, and just catch little fish, whatever's running at the time, and have a few drinks and make it chill, have fun with everybody. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
For sure. Looking forward to it.
Sorry, guys, I got a call I got to respond to here real quick.
Well, I gotta say, one of my goals this year coming in was to get on this podcast. So I'm glad I was able to knock that one out pretty quick.
Heck yeah! It's always a great goal.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I will
I'd
say,
like to catch my first muskie this year too. That'd be nice, but not the weather for them.
I will say,
Catching
Walt,
new species is always fun.
you did
Yeah,
it
it is.
in.
Did see a
I was going to
Jojo.
say, Walt, you did it in a much harder realm of SIKC to place, right? So like all these guys that have stickers, including myself, like got a third place sticker, and sometimes it was like maybe it was only 18 people showed up to the tournament. So like to get a top 3 in one of I think it's our second largest field we've had. So I mean that's pretty impressive right off the get.
Do you get a sticker for third place too?
Traditionally, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I talked to Kessler. He has all of them made.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah,
So-
and my other goal, rookie of the year, and I think Jonathan said there's 25 rookies this year, so we're gonna have to earn
Big
it.
class,
So
yeah.
that'll be
Whoa.
awesome.
Yeah, it's a big field.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's a great thing. It means our club is growing. It means people are
Yeah.
interested. That's a goal that every veteran of SICK just has to kind of take in there, and hopefully they're hearing this, that to be extra welcoming and extra open to our biggest class of rookies ever. So I mean that's a lot more people that are coming in that just the director can go around and shake hands and introduce. So that's on everybody to make sure everybody feels open and welcome. And that's something as simple as just asking them how their day went, what'd you catch them on, and being intentional, not just saying it and just trying to think about what you're going to say in response, but like actually like being there in the moment and being present, goes a long way.
Exactly. Not asking because you want to talk about yourself, asking because you genuinely care about how they did and what they did. It's like
Yeah.
when you walk into work on Monday, hey, how was your weekend? Like, oh, it's okay. How about yours? And then you spill out everything about your wonderful weekend and stuff.
Yeah, I talked to that MLF guy for I don't know how long I talked to him for, and that's when I gave him that Cinco. But I'm glad he caught that 19 3/4 on it.
So he's an MLF competitor and he's fishing our tournaments, or
He used to be MLF and he
Okay.
switched to the kayak, he switched to the kayak, and this is his first event. He said he's a rookie. I forgot his name, but he's a great guy.
that'd be an interesting conversation. That's a big change.
Yeah, that could be a
for
cool podcast if somebody like Walt and him, where you get a transition of like, hey, we're coming from the bass boat world into the kayak world,
Yeah, definitely
He
good.
first started MLF as a co-angler, then he switched up and got himself a boat, and he was like one of like the main anglers.
It's a different world, that's for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I mean, it goes to show you what a diverse field you have there just taking the water. I mean, you've got, I'm sure, people that have barely caught any bass, and we've been preaching the entire time. You don't wait till you're good enough to get in a bass tournament, at least in a kayak, in a grassroots. If you can afford the entry fee, it's probably the best money you could spend to learn.
Yep. I mean, like, learning from this club is amazing because no one keeps secrets around here, really.
No, maybe a little bit on a pre-fishing tournament day. Somebody might have a little bit of tight lips, but the second the tournament starts, everybody's telling everybody everything, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So speaking of that, I always like to leave with big little tidbits that a rookie or a new fisherman, new kayak angler can take away from our conversation today. So I'm going to ask each of our top 3 competitors here. It's like, if you had one piece of advice that you could throw out there that would help someone who's maybe that was their first tournament. We got 25 rookies in this field. Maybe that's the first time they've actually paid money to go fish. They've got a kayak they went out and bought, so now they're in the heat of it. So what would be one piece of advice you could give them? I'm going to ask Dalton to start. I know you've got tons of advice, right? You've got trophies everywhere.
Right.
Don't get discouraged off your first tournament. Learn from the people that won tournaments, or just learn from people around you that's catching fish, and just always shoot to catch 5 fish. That's how I always look at it. If you get your 5, there's a high chance you're gonna get at least top 10 now. I would say a couple years ago you get top 5, but how this club has expanded, I would say top 10 if you get 5 fish.
Very good. Josh, you've given away a lot of great advice in this podcast. You got anything left?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's probably coming full circle, but my big piece of advice, if that was your first tournament or any tournament regardless, is never give up, right? It would have been real easy at 6 hours into the tournament. I was cold, I was shivering, it was windy, I didn't have a single fish on the board. It would have been really easy just to say, you know what, it's not my day, pack it up and go home, sit in the warm truck, warm up a little bit. But no, you keep fishing and cool things can happen, right? You can catch your last keeper fish with 40 seconds to go.
That's a great story. That'd make a great video. Can't wait till that one comes.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. Yeah. Everybody check it out on Lincoln Fishing on YouTube.
Yes. Walt, what do you think?
Yeah, and I was actually going to, piggyback on what Josh said. Don't give up. I don't think I can remember being as cold as I was halfway through that. I left my hat in the car. I left my coat in the car. And 11:30, I had 2 fish that I was just shivering down to the core, and was debating my life decisions on being out there. Finally, I just pulled up a chart on the graph and just said, what haven't I done, because this isn't working, and just made an adjustment and fished till the end, and it worked out. So just keep on grinding, and it'll come.
Very well said. Well, guys, I want to thank you for your time tonight, and this has been a pretty interesting wrap up of a very tough tournament that you guys came out on top of. Hopefully the weather's going to cooperate a little more in the next couple of tournaments, and hopefully I see your faces back here. And Jeff, I want to thank you again for stepping up and coming back on the podcast. It's been a great addition, and I'm sure that you can help us out as we go forward. So any final messages you guys want to get out before we sign off?
I'd like to encourage everybody watching, and you 3 there as well, to sign up for the High Five Challenge, because Kessler pushed it back another month because we're looking for more people to sign up. If you didn't see that in the SIKC newsletter, that's like the replacement for like the monthly species tournament last year. So I can't remember what the exact qualifiers are, but there's bass, catfish, bluegill, and crappie this year. I think it's just those 4, and so it would run from, I think, May to either August or September, and it would be your biggest fish out of each of those. And there's multipliers for each one, and you can use any public water in Missouri and Illinois. So, it'd be a good way to get out there, and like Dalton catching muskie, maybe Josh gets out there and catches state record bluegill, might be a chance to get another paycheck out of it and everything. So I had fun with it last year, and I know like Kendall, I think he was the one that won it last year.
Yeah.
He he had fun with it too, and those of us that signed up enjoyed it. So I hope other people will do the same, so we can run it back this year.
Yeah, I missed that. I'll definitely jump in.
Yeah, great message. So yeah, if anybody wants some additional information, it's probably going to be on the website, sikcfishing.org. A really good website that has been put together. So even if you're not interested in that, take a look at the website. It's pretty impressive. I'm watching it now, watching Josh here do some pedaling across
Heck
the
yeah.
lake on the website. So it's pretty good. So please, if you're watching this, you enjoy this, you know somebody that may also get some value out of these conversations, share it with them, post it on your social media, help promote our club and just safe, good kayak fishing as well. So, without any further ado, we're going to sign off for the night. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks again, fellas. Y'all have a great night.
You too.
You too.
All right.